Hello, welcome to India Moon. So an outline for today's video. First, we are going to begin by having a discussion about arrays and answer some fundamental questions such as what, where, and how are arrays used. Next, I will explain the basic structure of an array and the common operations we are able to perform on them. Lastly, we will go over some complexity analysis and look at some source code on how to construct a dynamic array using only static arrays. Discussion and examples. So what is a static array? So static array is a fixed length container containing elements which are indexable, usually on the range of 0, inclusive to n-1 also inclusive. So a follow-up question is what is meant by being indexable? So answer this means that each slot or index in the array can be referenced with a number. Furthermore, I would like to add that static arrays are given as contiguous chunks of memory, meaning that your chunk of memory doesn't look like a piece of Swiss cheese with a bunch of holes and gaps. It's continuous, all the addresses are adjacent in your static array. Okay. So when and where is a static array used? Well, they're used everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It's hard to make a program that doesn't use them. In fact, here are a few places you may or may not know that do use arrays. So of course, the first simple example is to temporarily store objects. Most common use of arrays that you're probably familiar with. Next is that we use arrays as buffers to store information from an input or an output stream. Suppose you have a really large file, for instance, that you need to process, but that file is so big, it doesn't fit in all in memory. So we use a buffer to read small chunks of the file into the buffer or the array, one at a time. And so eventually we are able to read the entire file. I also like to use arrays as lookup tables because of their indexing property. So this is a really easy way to retrieve data from the lookup table if you know where everything is supposed to be and at what offset. Next, we also use arrays as a workaround in a programming language that only allows one return value. So the hack we use then is to return a pointer or a reference to an array, which then contains all the return values that we want. This last example is a bit more advanced, but arrays are heavily used the programming technique called dynamic programming with tabulation to cache already computed subproblems. So a classic example of this might be the knapsack problem or the coin change problem. All right, I'm talking about some complexity. So the access time for static array and a dynamic array is constant because of a property that arrays are indexable. Searching, however, it can take up to the linear time because we potentially have to traverse all the elements in the array in the worst case, such as if the element you're looking for does not exist. Inserting appending and deletion from a static 2131 array doesn't really make sense. The static array is a fixed size container, it cannot 2138 grow larger or smaller. When inserting with a dynamic array, this operation can cost up linear time because you potentially have to shift all the elements to the right and recopy all the elements into the new static array. This is assuming we are implementing a dynamic array using static arrays. However, appending though is constant, doesn't that seem a little strange? Well, when we append elements to a dynamic array, we have to resize the internal static array containing all those elements. But this happens so rarely that appending becomes constant time. Deletions are linear for the same reasons that insertions are linear, you have to shift all of the elements over and potentially recopy everything into your static array. Okay, so we have a static array A I've defined at the top. So, A contains the values 44, 12, -5, 1, 7, 6, 0, 3, 9, 100. Currently, all the elements are distinct. But this is not a requirement of an array. Also remark that the very first element 44 has index position 0 in the array, not 1. This confuses many intro computer. 2315. Science students, you have no idea. The confusing part is that most, if not all, mathematics is 1 base to work, computer science is 1. Now, if we look at a, you can see that it contains the values 4412 -5, 1, 7, 6, 0, 3, 9, and 100. Currently, all the elements are distinct. However, this is not at all a requirement of the array. Also remark that the very first element 44 is indexed or positioned at index of 0 in the array, not 1, 0. This confuses a lot of intro computer science students. The confusing part is that most, if not all, mathematics is 1 based while computer science is 0 based. This is what causes the confusion. But worst of all is quantum computing. I did research one summer in quantum computing during my undergrad, and the field is a mess. It tries to please mathematicians, computer scientists, and physicists all at the same time. And indexing just doesn't work well. Anyways, back to arrays. I should also note that elements can be iterated over using a for each loop, something that's offered in some programming languages. It doesn't require you to explicitly reference the indices of your array, although the indexing is done internally. Behind the scenes, the notation of the square brackets denotes indexing. So, array a square bracket 0, close square bracket is equal to 44, meaning a at position 0 is equal to the value 44. Similarly, a position 1 is 12, a 4, 6 and 7 is 9. But a index 9 is out of bounds. And our program will throw an exception. Unless you're in C, it doesn't always throw an exception, unfortunately. Okay. Now, if we assign positions 0 to be -1, that happens if we assign index 5 B2 and if we assign index X to 25.